Carlsberg don't do weekends, but if they did, still wouldn't be as good as Auto Assembly. Hey everyone, I originally did this video earlier in the week, but a combination of it being way too long and needing some serious editing just to get it down to, it's still alright, still very long as it is, but just to get it down to this short. And I've had problems getting my internet working at home, but it's finally working. I've got my broadband in my flat, so it's time to do my haul video for this year. So I'll take you through what I got. I'm not going to do them in the order I bought them in because I can't remember everything that I got in order. I'll start off with a few things I bought that weren't for me. And there was one thing that isn't here anymore because I've already given that to the person in question. That was I picked up the IDW Generations Bumblebee, the new one with the IDW Bumblebee with that comes with the comic. And that was for my friend Emma, who's got a bit of a Bumblebee obsession. I have to bring back a Bumblebee every year for her. So this year was the IDW Bumblebee. And there was two other toys I bought that weren't for me. A couple of Prime toys. Bumblebee again. And let's put that down there. And RC. They're actually for my goddaughters because they're 4 and 6 years old, and recently they borrowed my Transformers Prime Season 1 DVD and watched the whole thing with their dad, who's obviously a good friend of mine. Watched the whole series in less than a week, I think it was, and so he's been trying to find them some of the toys, and of course that's Season 1, and you don't really see them about now. They've literally, if he'd have watched it about 4 months ago, he could have had them all at a really cheap cost when Tesco's were clearing out their stock to make room for the Beast Hunters line. But now you can't see them. So I said to him, is there any particular ones they want? And they said, Bumblebee is their favourite, and they like RC as well. So I said, well, I'm going to a massive convention. If I see them, do you want me to get them for you? And he said, yeah, don't worry about getting them, in the box or necessarily having all their weapons because it's only the kids that are going to play with them. But they're both complete. In fact, RC's even got her instructions there. So I think I paid about £16 for the pair, so not too bad really. So yeah, that was all the stuff for other people. So we'll go on to what I got. I'll do the box stuff first. So this isn't in the order I bought it in because I can't remember. But there's a few things I'll save till the end. First things I got was the 2 convention exclusives, Robot Manuel X and Robot Basil Z. Other box stuff I got: Fall of Cybertron Air Raid. Been looking out for one of these for a while, and haven't found one in the shops, and online he's been going for sort of about 20 quid, and it's like, well, I want him because he's a remold of Shockwave, which is a good toy, but I really like this guy. I love the head sculpt on him, but I haven't seen him for a good price. But then I got him from I think it was the Geek Station for 14 quid, which is pretty decent price for some hard to find. So I thought, I sort of very quickly decided this year I wasn't going to buy anything that you can get at retail. That was the exception because it's been hard for me to find. So there were things like Beast Hunters Ultra Magnus that I was sort of, in the run up to the convention, I was sort of contemplating getting, and when I got there I was like, you know what, I can get that anytime, in the near future. I don't have to get that now. I'll use this as an opportunity to get all the stuff that you just can't get normally. Got one other boxed thing, and this was something about 2 or 3 weeks before the convention. Suddenly decided I really wanted this, and I think it was because the Generations version started sort of appearing online in reviews and stuff like that. But I got Encore Hoist. Suddenly decided I really wanted this guy. I got it for 25 quid, which was about the lowest I've seen it for. Didn't want to pay any more than 30 because I know I've seen it online for about that. And I saw one on the Saturday and it was priced at 45 quid, and it was like, well, I'm not paying that because I know I can get it, for no more than about 30 online. So didn't bother picking it up then. Sunday morning, walked in, and literally the first place I went to have a look at was the Space Bridge, and they had one there for £25. So that, just grabbed that straight away. So so really happy with that. I'd say that was another thing I was really hoping to pick up, specifically the Encore version as well, because he's got the cartoon accurate blue eyes rather than the yellow eyes I think it is that most of the toys have. I'm a sucker for show accuracy, as some of you will know. Yeah, let's go here. This was actually the first thing I bought, I think, other than the convention exclusives. Now Rob was looking for first edition Viacom because he bought the Bad Cop upgrade set, but he got the silver package. The gold packages had run out by the time he decided he was going to buy it. And so he got the kit because he was going to have to source the actual Viacon himself, so somewhere else around the convention. And we were over in Toys and Games, and I clocked one, and sort of quickly got his attention, and said, "Look, there you go. There's your first edition Viacon." And literally, as I turned around, having sort of got hold of him, I spied on the stall opposite, which I think was Big D's toy chest. Up on the shelf behind them, they had pretty much all the Scramble City combiners, and I'd been looking for one in particular, and there he was, still on the shelf, Bruticus. So that was really cool. So I literally just went straight over there and was like, "Can I have Bruticus, please?" So yeah, that was a good find right at the start as well, and he's actually really nice. Most of the stickers are still perfect. There's one or two, whereas I did find one somewhere that was a little bit scuffed, but other than that, he's pretty. Oh yeah, it's underneath here. One of the stickers there is a bit scuffed. But other than that, he's. I can't find anything wrong with him at all. That cost me Oh, he's just fallen over. That cost me 70 quid, which was about what I was expecting to pay. So I also got with that all the guns, all the accessories, and even Onslaught's instructions. So that was cool. So that was the first thing I bought on the Saturday. So that was a pretty decent start. What else I get? And then literally, I picked that Bruticus up, paid for it, started to move away from the stall, and I caught something out the corner of my eye. I found myself a Tigertron. So that was another one I've been looking for. So yeah, this guy was 25 quid, which is about as much as I wanted to pay for him. I didn't really want to go any higher than that. So that was quite lucky, really. But he's absolutely mint. I can't find a mark on this at all. So he's obviously been well looked after. And I sort of was sat around playing with this a few times because I've never transformed this mould before, so it taken me a while to figure out how it worked. Specifically the head, I couldn't work out until I realised it twisted round. I didn't know quite how it works. But there were several points through the weekend where I was kind of sat around playing this, and someone will come up to me. I think Anton came up to me, and I think Stu came up to me, and they saw me playing with this, and they were like, "Has Jim seen you've got that?" Because I know Jim was after one of these as well, and I didn't see another one that the whole time I was there. So, but I did when I spoke to him on the Sunday, he said he'd managed to find someone who was going to sell him one, so that was cool. So we basically both managed to get one. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, really happy with that. Can go with my Air Razor now. The other Beast Wars toy I got one other, And the funny thing was, I think this was on the Sunday I got this one, and I was walking around with Ian for quite a lot of time on Sunday, Airlift 82, and I think we'd literally just been talking about this toy. I think we'd seen the Transmetal version, and he sort of picked it up and was like, "Oh yeah, that's a really nice example of it, and quite a good price." And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm looking for the original one. That's the one I want." And then literally the very next stall, they had just happened to be sort of glancing across it and happened to see it there, and that was Ratbat. Not Ratbat. Jesus Christ, I got Ratbat on the way. Rat Trap. It's like I'm still tired. I haven't really recovered from the weekend yet. Yeah, the original Rat Trap, complete, lovely condition. Pretty much mint condition with his gun, both parts of his gun, and they even had the little card thing. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be, but it doesn't really. It's all in. I don't think any of that's in English, but oh well, never mind, eh? Yeah, I got this guy for, I think it was £15 I paid for him, which is about as much as I was willing to pay for him again. I've seen it go online for a lot more than that, so yeah, I didn't think that was too bad a price really. So yeah, that was all the Beast Wars I bought this weekend. Really, there's not a lot of Beast Wars I'm after, and they were the sort of the main two I've looked for in the past. So to get both of those, that was pretty cool. And actually, speaking of Ian, I didn't see him at all on Saturday. I don't know how that happened. So he was one of the people I didn't see at all Saturday. But spent quite a lot of time with him on Sunday, and actually bought something off him. We've been talking on Facebook and stuff like that for sort of, I don't know, at least a month or so now, maybe slightly longer. But in one of my old videos, I was talking about the Micromaster combiners and how I wanted the Superion recolour of Six Wing. And I was talking to Ian one night, and he goes, "Oh, I've got one. You can have it if you want." So I bought that off him. There he is. And Ian sold me to him for a very nice price, so I really appreciate that, Ian. That was the last one of those Micromaster combiners that I was after, so that was really cool of you. Really appreciate that. Where else should we go? Where should we go next? Yeah, okay. This was another kind of end of convention purchase. Well, towards the end, as I was just sort of wandering around with the last few quid I had in my pocket, seeing what I could get, and I got a G2 GoBot High Beam, complete with info card and even instructions, and that was only £4, and I've seen that go for anything up to 20 quid online when it's complete with the weapon. This is absolutely mint. So £4 was an absolute bargain. Now the reason I bought this is because I don't know if I'm just going to do it, but in the past, when I've in the oh god, I'm just tripping over words. I'm really tired. In the Transformers Club comic, that when I first started getting that, they were doing a storyline that had a character called Night Racer in it, and she was pretty cool. I quite like getting female Transformers because there aren't many of them about, and I found out the only toy of her was a BotCon exclusive from the very first BotCon in is it '94 or something like that, and it was actually this but recoloured. And so I've often thought about doing like a custom and repainting that. I'm not sure I'd be able to pull it off, to be honest. I don't know if my painting skills are up to the job, but after sort of looking around at the high beam mould anyway, it's quite a nice little figure actually, so I might just leave it as it is, or I might try and repaint it into Night Racer, but either way, £4 was an absolute steal, I thought, for that. And the last thing before we get on to kind of like the themed purchases was another thing I got towards the end of Sunday when I was sort of trying to sort of maximise what I got out of my money. And I'd seen this on the Saturday, and sort of, I think I even said to Ed that he would quite like it. But in the end, I sort of started thinking about it for myself. And I was literally stood looking at this in the cabinet for a good sort of 10-15 minutes debating whether I wanted it or not. And Rob was with me, and he just said, you know, if you'll regret it if you don't. It's a convention exclusive, you know, min exclusives. And in the end, I was like, yeah, if I go home and don't have this with me, I'll only wish I'd bought it. So I picked up Glyph, who is a recolour of G1 Bumblebee, painted in blue. And, you know, speaking about female Transformer just now, it is actually a female. She wasn't cheap. I paid 25 quid for that, but she's in really good condition. It's a BotCon exclusive, I think from about 2002, and it doesn't come up very often at all. The other two from that sort of set are a lot more common. I think it's Rook and Tap Out. They're fairly easy-ish to get hold of, but this one's really, really rare, at least in my experience anyway. So in the end, yeah, I paid 25 quid for it, so it's probably a bit more than I wanted to pay for it, but I would have regretted not doing it, so I'm glad I bought her. And actually the paint is really nice. I don't know if this will show up on camera too well. It looks a lot darker here, but it's not only is it a really nice blue, it's a metallic blue. Another exclusive to add to the list. Now, that's not all my purchases. This book has got a lot to answer for. I won't show you inside just yet because it'll give a few things away. But I'll save that till the end. I got that a couple of weeks ago now, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I remember sort of around this time last year I wasn't even aware of it, you know, about a year ago, and I started hearing sort of from various things, you know, Last Stand of the Wreckers, it's really good, you know, you've got to read it. And you know, I sort of tucked that away in my head and thought, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. And I was originally reading through the IDW stuff from the start, but with finances being the way they are now, I was never going to be able to catch up. So a few weeks ago I just went, you know what, it's supposed to be a really good book, I'll just order it now and then I can get it signed at AA as well. So I ordered that, read it in one sitting a few weeks ago, and was absolutely blown away by how good it was. And it's the kind of story that's right up my street, you know, taking obscure characters and giving them a bit of the spotlight. You know, that's like, you know, really, that's my bag, as it were. And so I kind of, about a week before the convention, I had another little read of it, and the more I read it, the more sort of enamoured I became with Iron Fist, to the point where he became basically the toy that was my grail, as it were, for this convention. That would be, you know, the one toy above all others that I wanted to pick up. And I'd said about it to Rob and John before we got there, and who else? I'd spoken to, I think it was Anton on the Friday night. We were sort of asking each other what we were looking for, and I said that, and I said I really want an Iron Fist, but you know, I don't think there's a particularly good chance I'll find one, because it's, you know, it's one of those Euro exclusive, end of the line, you know, stupidly hard to find things. And I think I had a similar conversation with Ed possibly on the Saturday morning. and so I kind of resigned myself to the fact I wasn't going to find one. And then I did see one. Well, in fact, I saw two. In the same bag, that is. There was a guy selling two Iron Fists together. One with missing an arm. The other one was pretty mint, and they had one of the weapons between them. Unfortunately, there we go. There's the two. Exactly, I'd say that one, as you can see, is missing a hand under there. The weapon as well, but it's missing the panels that go in here to connect it to the top of the vehicle there. But I thought, I'm not going to see another one. I may be able to source that at a later point, but the important thing is I get some iteration of this guy, because it's the one I really want. So I bought that. I was perfectly happy with it, and was then sat watching some panels, and Anton came over again. We were having a bit of a chat, and I said, I found one, but it's missing a few bits. And he goes, "Oh, I've just seen one, and I think the gun's connected to the Jeep." And I was like, "Oh no, I've obviously not seen it, and bought one that isn't as good." Rob then came back from wherever he had gone off to. I think he was just wandering around, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen it as well. It looks complete." I was pretty gutted at that point. And then as we were wandering around again, I actually saw it, and yeah, it was complete. And I was looking at it and going, "You know what? Should I buy this one as well?" Which effectively means I've spent twice as much as I should have done on the guy, but and John was sort of being the little devil on my shoulder, as it were, and going, you might not get another chance at this. This is the one you wanted. If you don't buy it, you're probably going to regret not buying it. And I stood there for probably a good 15 minutes or so, wrestling with my sort of inner self as to whether I should, and in the end I just went, "You know what, you're right, I will regret it if I don't, even though it means I have spent more money than I should have done on this particular character." And so Iron Fist number 3, although technically this is a combination, because as it turned out, so we've got 3 Iron Fists. One of the ones I got in the bag of 2 actually had the best body of the 3, although it had no sticker. There was one, I think it's where are we? This one with the broken arm had had stickers on it. The mint one that was in the bag with it has got no stickers other than the factory applied ones. And then the one that was complete has got stickers, but they're really tatty, and the body itself is a bit loose. So between the two, I've actually made one really good one, and you can see it now. The light piping on him is phenomenally good, and so I'm in a way I'm glad I did buy both, because it meant I got one really good one of a character I've become very, very fond of in a very short space of time. So yeah, I ended up spending a fair amount of money on this guy, but you know what, I've got no regrets. As mad as that sounds, this was what I came for, and I'm really happy I managed to get a really good one out of it. So this is kind of like one of my new favourite toys. I've had immense fun as well messing around with the gimmick. Pushing that out, you won't be able to. I wonder if you can we get the viewfinder down the camera? Let's see if we can. I don't think this is going to work on camera, but if it'll focus. Yeah, there we go. You can see the laser. I've had hours of fun with that over the weekend. Everyone's been pissing themselves laughing over that. Rob thinks it's hilarious. But yeah, so I was absolutely ecstatic to get this guy. Really, really happy. But that's not the end. When I bought that one, the second one, the guy was like, "Oh, if you're interested, I've got a pyro over there, and I'll knock a tenner off him for you." I've never even seen this in the flesh, as it were, before. And he comes with his gun and his instructions, and he's absolutely brilliant. Now I'm going to show you that I've left it in vehicle mode for now. I'm going to sort of cut away and come back with it in robot mode, because this is probably the only time I transform this toy, because it is absolutely covered in gold plastic and I am paranoid this thing is going to crumble. So I'm going to transform it once, I'm going to show you the robot mode, and then this thing will probably never be transformed again. So yeah, give me 2 seconds and I'll come right back. Here we go, his trailer turns into this sort of weird gun platform thing with a big missile launcher. You can see that's made of gold plastic as well. Put that down there. One of the pegs is a bit loose on it. I use some super glue or something, just tighten it up so it stays in place. And there we have Pyro. So that's another one of the wreckers. Oh, one thing I forgot before was I also got Iron Fist instructions as well with the packet of 2 that I bought. So I even got the instructions, so it's completely complete. Yeah, Pyro is really, really nice. Needs a bit of a clean, a bit dusty in a few places, but he's really, really nice. As you can see though, he's absolutely covered in gold plastic, so I am really paranoid about transforming this guy ever again. So yeah, I'm not sure if he'll ever be put back in his vehicle mode from there. But yeah, so the guy knocked a tenner off of that for me, and then he said, "Have you got a guzzle?" And I said, well no, not yet. So he gave me that for free. It's a rubbish toy. I say it's free, and actually the flint still works. The spark gimmick, tried it out earlier and it still works, surprisingly, because you don't normally find that they're working on these things. So yeah, he gave me that for free, and then he was like, well, if you're collecting Last Stand of the Wreckers stuff, I've got Stalker and Skyquake as well, and he dug those out for me to have a look at, and I was just like, oh god. I was quite tempted, but I had to sort of tell him I'd think about it and maybe get back to him, because I could just, the way it was going, I was going to end up spending all my money on that one stall. It's just a Big D's Toy Chest again, actually, so they had probably about 90% of my money on the first day. So I might you notice actually the shelves have changed behind me, because I've had to record this bit again because the camera just randomly cut out. I didn't find out till after I'd finished. But yeah, so I was quite tempted, but managed to resist in the end. But I might I think I probably will look for them at some point in the future. I've already started doing a Last Stand of the Wreckers shelf over there, which means I've got Iron Fist, got Pyro, got Guzzle. Suppose I better buy Rotor Storm as well then, hadn't I? This guy's pretty cool. I got him from Toy Foo. I'd seen a few earlier on, but they were missing the rotor blades, but this one has them. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any of his missiles. I saw Jim got one with some of the missiles, well, most of the missiles, so he obviously found that one before I did as a reversal of the Tigertron. So if anyone knows anyone who's got some Rotor Storm missiles, please let me know. I would like to complete this guy as well. But he's very cool. So that meant I'd got all the second stringers from Last Stand of the Wreckers. So that was really cool. And then the last things I bought, I had about £7 or £8 left, and I was just wandering around towards the end, and I thought, you know what, let's just get more wreckers. So I bought Topspin for £5 complete. His gun is, the chrome is immaculate. I can't find any missing chrome or anything, so he's really good. All works fine. They did have a twin twist there as well, but I didn't have enough left to get them both, and I prefer Topspin, to be honest. But then the guy at Toy Foo said, well, I've got a Topspin, a twin twist you can have for £1. He's had a gun break off in his hand at some point, as you can see, and he's got no gun with him, so he's not complete, so I need to sort a gun for him, and I've got a pin vice drill I can probably drill that handle out with at some point. And then he's fine. I managed to fix him as well. He wasn't springing open with enough force to stand up, but it turned out there was a bit of the spring on one of the legs had popped out of position. I managed to poke it back in, and he works fine as well now, so that's great. That was only £1. And that was it. That's all I bought. I spent an absolute fortune. So that was my robotic haul. I got a few things signed as well. I got most of the things done that I was talking about in a previous video, about the hopes and fears or something. I got this signed by Simon Furman because I love Rack and Ruin, and he signed it just down here. And I bought that one. I already own this issue, but I bought the retail incentive cover specifically to get it signed by Simon because I love Rack and Ruin. So I did say to him, I'm not sure I should tell you that because you'll probably kill him off, but he found that quite funny, and he was like, no, I can't kill Rack and Ruin, so fingers crossed. Hopefully he's not kidding with me. Then saw Dan Gilvezan and got him to sign my copy of Bumblebee and Me, which I bought a couple of months ago. Really good read. Definitely recommend it if you haven't got it already. Bit short. You can probably read it in an hour or two, but it's definitely worth a read. And say, there we go. Dan signed my copy for me, so that was cool. And he also signed my Takara Minibots set, so that's cool as well. It's quite good as well, actually. They've announced something actually that Michael McConaughey is coming to next year's convention, and he did the voice of Cosmos. So I'm thinking I might be able to collect the signatures of everyone on this cover at some point if the organisers of Auto Assembly would like to. If you could bring over all those voice actors, that would be brilliant, because that would be really cool if I could collect all the signatures for all the voice actors on there. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest, but I can get Cosmos next year, and that'll be at least 2 then. And then the last thing I got signed was obviously going to be this. I spoke to Nick and James, both great guys. Nick did his usual thing and asked who my favourite was. Obviously it's Iron Fist, and he drew a little picture of him for me, which was really, really cool. I'd like to get, if possible at some point, maybe next year or whatever, get Nick to do me a proper commission of Iron Fist. That would be absolutely superb. I need the walls in my flat are quite bare in places. I could do some artwork to liven it up a bit. I was going to get some prints this year maybe, but I didn't see any that I particularly was enamoured with, so I didn't bother, but that would be something really cool to get, so that's something to think about. And then James signed it as well for me, and he's written Wreckers Completist. I was explaining to him that thanks to him and Nick I've ended up buying all these bloody Wreckers toys, including all the second stringers from the book, so they were both really cool guys, and that was really cool. And actually getting this signed and that little picture and everything actually was sort of one of the things that really meant a lot to me. Actually, it's, you know, that was really, really cool. That put a big smile on my face. Even after I got home, I just kept looking at that. I was like, yeah, that's seriously cool. So yeah, that was my haul. This video's gone on way too long. I'm so sorry. I've waffled like mad. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of stories behind each of the pickups. So if you've managed to make it this far in the video, thank you so much. I shall be booking my ticket for next year at the IList opportunity, because I think you get a discount if you book before the end of December. And yeah, I'm going to try and be in the hotel if I can afford it, and so hopefully get a bit more socialising time with everyone, because, you know, it was so good to talk to the people that were there, and because I didn't do it last year, so this year was just like 10 times better, just because I've got to talk to so many people, and there were still people I didn't get to see, so I need to put that right next year. But yeah, I've gone on way too long here, and you probably aren't even watching at this point. Oh, I'm so tired, and I've got to go back to work tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you soon for another video. Catch you later.